Second time in 2 weeks. Their winning streak started with the Milwaukee Bucks. Will it end with the Milwaukee Bucks today as the Bulls face off against one of the better teams in the Eastern Conference? We're going to talk about it all and more right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bulls Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bulls news and content.
What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. I'm the host here, Haize, and we're here to have a pregame because it's game day as the Chicago Bulls are facing off against the Milwaukee Bucks, taking their 4-game winning streak into Milwaukee to see if they can keep it pushing. This is going to be the same test that it was last week for the Chicago Bulls is the same test it is this week. Can the Bulls come in and execute on both sides of the ball enough to be able to get a deal done, right? So that's gonna be an important part of it, a very important part to see if the Bulls can come in, keep up that intensity on the offensive defensive side. Rebounding the ball well is going to be an important factor today, and you cannot, I repeat, cannot let a role player go off on you from three to blow up this game. Yeah, Bobby Portis is a player that's given the Bulls fit since we've gone against them. We already know what Dame Lillard can be. Giannis Antetokounmpo is a monster and an MVP. So the Bulls got to be locked in on this game. They cannot come in here at all, in lax. I'm not saying underestimate because I don't. You be a fool to underestimate the Milwaukee Bucks. But outside of just the underestimation part of it, you got to come in here and execute. You can't get caught lacking today against the Milwaukee Bucks in any facet or avenue of the game. If you do so, it's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. And so, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with this Bulls team. I think ultimately that I expect the Bulls to put up a good fight today. I know I titled today's video, and I'm going to until it's a little bit more consistent. That is the Chicago Bulls' recent play fool's gold, and there's enough to ask that question, right? But it's games like this, and again, keep in mind I have not said anything about win or losing this game. It's about how you play in this game. Because I'll tell you what, I'll take a hard fought close loss from the Chicago Bulls in this game as long as they compete. And that's what it comes down to. You just have to compete and do so consistently. And if you can do it, it can be a big game for the Chicago Bulls. They just got to be able to do it consistently. Let's hope that that's going to be the case for this team. The play of Kobe White recently, him breaking a record. Me and Pat actually talked about it over on Locked On Bulls. Kobe White is like 5th all time on three-pointers made for the Chicago Bulls already, which is wild. Expect that record to be broken. If Kobe White stays a Chicago Bull for another 3-4 more years, which it seems like that's going to be the case. He's probably going to be the number one three-point shooter in Chicago Bulls history shortly. It's good to see that. Ayo Dosunmu coming off the bench, just understanding his role and how he needs to go about business for sure. And the recent up in play from Patrick Williams as well. You don't want to overlook that. Vooch, this is going to be a game that's going to be interesting to see how Vooch gets his offense off, because if Vooch comes in here and the Bulls get him the ball when he has opportunities and mismatches, which he's not going to have a lot of. You got Brook Lopez, Bobby Portis. They're probably both going to be playing Nikola Vucevic tight on the defensive side of the ball in this game when they have it. And that's going to be a difficult matchup for the Bulls. Those two players are difficult for for Nikola Vucevic to come up against. And we'll see what it's going to be, both on the offense and defensive side of the ball, right? Brook Lopez has gone off and killed us before in recent years. You already know what Bobby Portis can do. Pat Connaughton's out, so you don't have to worry about as much as that. Marjan Beauchamp is a player that has tried to get off big games against the Chicago Bulls, but I trust that we're going to be able to throw enough at him defensively, even if Caruso is out this game, which it looks like he's going to be a game time decision. If he even does play, we still got more than enough, I think, to throw at this player today. So let's see what's going to be, man. Let's hope that the Bulls are coming in here. They don't get caught lacking. They take care of business. And that, at the end of the day, I just want to see this team compete, right? This is the Milwaukee Bucks. If they lose, there's no harm in losing to the Milwaukee Bucks. But come in here and compete. Show that you belong. Show that you can compete with them, that you can fight. And if they do that, win or lose, I'm gonna be happy and proud of my team personally. So let's see if that's gonna be the case and what we can pull out from that one. Let's get into the comments and see how you guys are feeling. Tay Holland says, "I'm excited for this game. Just hope we come out with effort and hustle and heart, or lose. I can live with the results." Agree with you. That's exactly what I was getting to. If you come out with hustle and heart, even if you do lose, I can definitely agree with you on that one. Shay says, I hear the Toronto Raptors are looking to give us Pascal Siakam. If that's the case, say hell no, because he was proven not to be reliable unless he has an all-star with them. I prefer OG. Listen, Shay, first of all, you got to stop letting rumors get so much into you, bro. Like, you got to chill a little bit on that one, my guy. Tonight's game, we have to force turnovers when it comes to the Milwaukee Bucks. That shouldn't be hard to do because Giannis is very turnover prone, I guess is what you mean in there, not turnover poem. Because if you're writing poems about turnovers, brother, I mean, you could take your talents elsewhere. If you got talents to write poems, don't do it about turnovers. Like, pick something else to do it about. I watched a video today since all this Zach stuff started. AC has looked like the guy we can rely on for years to come. Can we afford him after the season, especially if he keeps it up? Well, it depends on a couple of different things. When you look at can the Bulls can afford to keep him, technically they can offer him whatever. I mean, next season he's already under contract, so that's neither here nor there because he's already under contract next season. Now, when you go into forward projections with that, it depends on what the Bulls do with some other things. So let's go and look at the 2025-26 season, which because this is 2023-24. The 2024-25 is the last season that he has under contract. So if we go into the summer of 2025, when you look at the team in that case, we have underneath the luxury tax, we currently have $38 million under the luxury tax. So, and that depends on what you do with some other things. Like things could get interesting for the Chicago Bulls, but keep in mind that's also factoring in right now Zach LaVine's contract. So if you do end up taking back smaller, shorter term salaries with, even if you take back one veteran piece, but then they expire at the end of the season, and then you have the younger players, that can free up some money for the Bulls too. So right now it's kind of hard to predict what the Bulls salary cap situation is going to be just because of the Zach LaVine trade and what they end up getting back from that. You also have the possibility of Lonzo Ball being off the books by then, or the disabled player exception, or the career-ending injury exception. So you got to look at that too. So the Bulls can theoretically keep Alex Caruso. It would have to take some finagling, and again, it depends on what you get into some other deals, but it's not outside the realm of possibility, I don't think. All right, let's see what else we got. Looking for another Kobe White masterclass in this game. Go Bulls. I mean, listen, Kobe has talked about consistency being one of the things he wants to show and prove. And at least for the last about 3 weeks now, he's shown pretty much consistency. Now, you want to get that done over months and stuff like that, but we'll end up seeing what happens. If he does and gets injured again, I'm blaming Billy. Oh, Alex Caruso, if he plays and get injured again. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, I would hope that if they were going to sit him, right? You thought that it would be the last game against the Spurs. They decided not to. We'll end up seeing, like, I do hope that, they're not trying to rush Alex Caruso out there. I know Alex Caruso is going to want to play regardless. So that's one thing with that. He's going to want to play regardless of whatever happens. So sometimes you got to protect players from themselves. And Alex Caruso has had a couple of ding-ups now in games in a row. This is a difficult week, so you may end up playing him, maybe restricting the minutes, but we'll see what happens with that. Bulls for Life says Kobe White All-Star season. It's going to be difficult at the guard position in the Eastern Conference to make an All-Star team from Kobe White in the way that the Chicago Bulls season started off. We can see, but it could prove difficult for Kobe White. Not to say that he doesn't have the skill to, or hasn't been showing that lately, but it can get really difficult. Keep in mind, All-Star voting is kind of a popularity contest, and right now the Bulls aren't necessarily the most popular team. Yeah, he's gotten to a point where he's a solid player on a bad team who's grown since leaving. I wouldn't mind having him back, especially with Jackson. Laurie, I don't understand why we just want to keep spinning our wheels. Like Laurie Markkinen puts up numbers, but he, like you said, he does so on a not a winning team. I'm good on that. I'm good on that. Bobby Portis about to Nikola Mirotic and motherfucking tonight. Watch, no, he's not. He's learned and grown from that. He's not that same person. Humble Servant says, what up, family? What's going on, fam? MC Season, what's good, Haize? Do you want to see DeMar re-sign with the Bulls if it's a good deal? Listen, I mean, it'd have to be an extremely team-friendly deal. I mean, extremely team-friendly. So I gotta go back and forth on that. It depends on what the deal is, but according to what we've seen or what we've heard right now, it doesn't seem like they're anywhere close on a deal, anywhere close on it. So that kind of points to I don't think that that's going to happen if I'm just being 100% honest with you. Milwaukee perimeter defense is suspect, so Kobe, Io, and Caruso should have good games. Listen, yeah, it's suspect, but it's not as simple as just saying, "Oh yeah, they should just have good games." You still have to create that separation, right? You have to get in rhythm, and their post D. It's not as simple as you got weak perimeter defenders. Boom, their perimeter is open. It's still how you create that space, how you create those lanes, and their post defense is pretty good. So that's what it goes into something as well. Why does it always feel like we play the Bucks 12 times a season? Bucks give me stomach cramps because they're in our division, so we play them 4 times a year. 2 times at home, 2 times on the road. Quentin from Let's Talk Bulls says, "What's up, Haize? The Bulls cannot get caught switching this game. Kobe trying to guard Giannis is asking for trouble. Yeah, unless he's drawing charges, which I think he did a couple of times last game. So we'll see. It's official. Caruso is out. Oh, damn, that sucks. All right, hey, listen. Next man up. Io DeSumo's played pretty well when he steps in for Alex Caruso. So we'll see what that ends up meaning. We will do great as long as they don't let DeMar take them down with iso ball. Kobe and Will did well when they froze him out by bringing the ball up himself. That's not freezing him out. See, this is the thing that I always say. A lot of times, what we try to label as isolation ball isn't isolation ball. We run less than 5% isolation. What you're seeing isn't necessarily isolation ball. You're seeing players stand around and watch DeMar get to work. That's not necessarily isolation. That's just players not moving without the ball. So I think a lot of times we start blaming DeMar for isolation ball when that's not necessarily what they're running. Players just aren't moving and cutting in the way that they should be. What is the trade penalty called? After trading Zach, who has to pay the extra money? Us or the new team? Us. The trade kicker, it's not a penalty. But if we trade him, we have to pay him an extra 5%. I think it's a 5% trade kicker. The Bucks are like the knowing cousin you have to see every holiday at the family dinner. Facts. You know what the Milwaukee Bucks are? They're that kid in Home Alone. What was the cousin's name that always wet the bed? That's what the Milwaukee. That's what they were for a long time. I mean, they're better than us now, but that's how we always looked at the Milwaukee Bucks. Hey, I saw Locked on Bulls replay, and you and Pat was talking about the Bulls' top 3-point shooters, and I was surprised Craig Hodges wasn't on the list. I know his career was short, though. I'm not surprised. I don't even think he's in the top 20, Craig Hodges. I don't think he is. Do I still have that list up? Let's see. I still have that list. Yes, I do. Craig Hodges is not in the top 10, not in the top 20. He's number 23. Craig Hodges made 238 3-pointers in his Chicago Bulls career, and that's over 241 games. So, yeah. Trade kicker is 15%. Okay, 15%. That's even worse. That's a lot of goddamn money, man. Perfectly said, Haize, consistency all I want for tonight. It's not about wins or loss. With that in mind, Kobe dropping 30 and P. Will dunking on Giannis tonight. Hey, let's hope that that's the case. Let's hope that that's the case. Fuller, go easy on the Pepsi. Yeah, that's it. That's crazy. That's funny. Good point. The result is the same, and the ball loves when he's not in there. LOL, my point now has and will always be move on from DeMar. I mean, hey, I understand where you're coming from with that, but I still think we've seen it, and but I don't think they froze him out either. We've seen him help generate offense when he's in facilitating mode. I think that's the key to DeMar working in a more up-tempo team. As long as he's here, it's him. He has to facilitate a little bit more. Alex R, we don't have to win. All we have to do is play with heart, be scrappy, and play with aggression. To the end, that's a win for me. It's all about building chemistry and identity. Agree with you on that one. Hey, you think P. Diddy got a hold of? Oh, okay. We are moving on from that one. Speaking of that kid from Home Alone, do you know he was actually Macaulay Culkin, real life brother? Yes, we all know that, Shay. That's not hidden information anymore, bro. They look just alike. Like I think I knew that growing up. It just had to all come together. So Shay says, I don't know if you remember, but Javon Carter did a pretty good job of turning Dame Lillard over and playing defense on him. And let's hope that that's the case. Let's hope that that's the case. Like, we know that we have perimeter defenders, right? I don't think that's a big question when it comes down to it. We have the defenders out on the perimeter. So, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see, man. It sucks Alex Caruso's out, though, but that's going to open up more minutes for players like Javon Carter if he's rocking and rolling, right? We may even see a Dalen Terry, Julian Phillips a little bit more in this game now with Alex Caruso being out. It just depends on who steps in into that role and things like that. So this is going to be a fun game. If we win this, our season will officially be on the turnaround. I won't say that. Here's what I'll say. Before I'm willing to say that the season's on any type of turnaround or anything like that, I would have to say that the Bulls would have to be if we can get to 2 games below 500, 2 games below 500, I'd be willing to say that. 2 games below 500, I'd be willing to say it. Anything less than that, I wouldn't necessarily be willing to say that the season is turned around. I think that we can get into that area, but we got to get to at least 2 games below 500 before I'm willing to say that. Once we're there, or God forbid we get to 500, that's where things really start to change. So hold on. But yeah, so that's what I think things can start turning around and they can start changing. So let's hope that that's the case, and we'll see what we can do. Haize, do you see a possibility of Adama Sanogo getting some minutes for the Bulls this season? I mean, the question with that is that I think if the Bulls do have an injury to Nikola Vucevic or Andre Drummond, there's a possibility of it, because I think Adama Sanogo is a big man who can at least rebound. He's shown that at the G League. At the bare minimum, I trust Adama Sanogo to be able to come in and be able to rebound the ball. And that's it. Like putbacks maybe on the offensive side of the ball. Defensively, he's still listen, you average almost 2 blocks per game and over is still in a half per game. There's something that you're doing defensively, but I think it's going to take a little bit more than that to kind of get it going for the Chicago Bulls. And so, get him on the court and be able to stay on the court. But I do think he has the skill level to be able to do so. It's going to take a little bit to kick in on that, though. So, and I still think that there's still a chance that they may play Terry Taylor before that as well. Like that's still there. Terry Taylor's kind of that safety valve for Billy Donovan. Robert says, I'm glad we had a lot of these days off between games lately to get guys more practice together. We have played the most games in the NBA or tied. Is that real? I didn't even know that. We did have a very busy start to the season when it came to the schedule, so that doesn't surprise me. But I didn't realize we played some of the most games in the NBA. Listen. But we did say that the schedule eases up for the Chicago Bulls after around mid-January, and so that kind of plays a part into that. Even with Caruso back, why didn't we experiment with Ayo at point guard and Kobe at the 2? Because we see Ayo is not the best at point guard. Ayo's best doing some ball handling for sure, but he's thriving at the wing. So I don't think that you necessarily want to go back to something that you saw and wasn't necessarily working. Like Ayo, yes, was a point guard in college, but it's a very different type of point guard than what he needed to be for this team. So I don't think you're going to see a lot of Ayo at the 1 and Kobe at the 2, because again, and at Kobe growing as a starting point guard in this league, you don't really want to move him off that if you don't have to, because he's growing and thriving in that role. So that's what I think in my mind of why they haven't done that. Even with Caruso back, why don't we experiment with Ayo at the point? Oh, I already read that one. I thought I clicked a different one. Sorry. Let's see. DeMargio. Let me know if I pronounced that correctly. Earn a lot, but team should get some minutes. I agree. He should definitely get some minutes. Look out for Middleton tonight, because he had a real life terrible game last time against us. So he's looking for some vengeance. I mean, yeah, but see, Middleton is not having the best season in general, right? I think like Middleton's adapting differently than what some people thought with having Dame Lillard out there. And overall, Middleton's just not having a good season. Not having a terrible season, right? I don't want to make it seem like he's in the toilet or anything like that. He's shooting the ball 47% from the field, 37% from 3-point range. So that's not terrible at all. But like he's averaging 12.4 points per game. So you can't really expect him to come in and he's far removed. He's 2 years removed from averaging 20 points per game, right? He had those 6 years in a row where he averaged 20 or 18 points. Well, it was 2018, 20, 20, and 20 that he averaged, but he's kind of coming back down to earth. And, 32-year-old player, starting to get to that, it makes some sense. And that's why bringing in Dame Lillard could help with that. But he's also adapting to his new role as well. Tyler says, Haize, if you have to rebuild the Bulls, who would you keep? Who would you get rid of? That's actually going to be a topic on the daily episode tomorrow. So check out the episode that drops tomorrow morning if you want that. Having a hard time not getting really annoyed knowing Zach asked for a trade and gets more money for us for doing it. Why write the contract that way? It just encourages the player to ask for a trade. Well, I think it safeguards the player and the team. For example, and this is not the case, but trade kickers are like, if I give you a hometown discount and then you end up trading my ass, I want something back. And listen, he's a clutch sports guy. They negotiate great contracts for their guy. That's just what it comes down to. If you can get it, you get it. It's unfortunate that I end up going to that, but if you can get it, you can get it. Devin says, Caruso needs to sit and heal completely, in my view. Let Phillips get some of that tick. I mean, listen, I think that you're gonna see more minutes for Io, more minutes for Javon Carter for sure. That's gonna come first, maybe even some more minutes for Torrey Craig. Because Billy Donovan he likes to keep the rookies on the leash. And I think if Julian Phillips comes into this game and plays well, over that, we could maybe see some stuff like that. But I think don't expect is all I'm going to say. Don't expect Julian Phillips to get a lot of minutes if that's the case. Him and Dalen were called up, so that may very well point to the fact that they plan on maybe playing them some. But I wouldn't say like don't necessarily bet on it right away. That's what I'll say. Middleton is out. Shay, is Middleton out? I didn't even see that on the injury report. Let me take a look at that. Milwaukee Bucks injuries. They don't list Chris Middleton as out, at least not on this injury report that I'm looking at, but that doesn't mean it's not true. Some of these injury reports don't update usually. So we'll see what happens with that. R.I.P. Middleton's knee. That is funny. I heard Zach got a tattoo that says "fuck the Bulls" on his nutsack before shoot around. Yeah, okay, wow. Definitely want to see more of Io. He's been great this season. Io's really thrived in his role, and you got to give it up for a player that's really grown in a role after it switched. Like it big. Well, like if you look at it, came into his rookie year, just didn't expect to get a lot of minutes. The Bulls said it. They expect for him to come through the G League. Came through training camp. The defense was good. He got on the court early for Billy Donovan. His role grew from there, kept growing. Lonzo Ball then went down. He stepped into the starting point guard role. He came in the last season. He did win that point guard role last preseason because he was the best point. He played the best of point guard than anybody in last preseason. But then he ended up losing that position, rightfully so, to Pat Bev, who came in. And then this season, he signed a new contract. You got a point guard in Kobe White, who's named the starter. You got Javon Carter there. You have to carve out a role for yourself other than that point guard, and he's done a really good job at it. And then now with this new style that they're playing, he's thriving in that for sure. I'm not expecting Terry to score a lot of points, but if we win, don't be surprised if he plays a big factor in tonight or tomorrow's game. Dalen Terry, I don't know. Like at this point, I think what we've seen from Billy Donovan, before you could say that Dalen Terry is going to play a big role, I think you'd be more in line with what we've seen in reality to say that Julian Phillips is probably going to get minutes before Dalen Terry. But hey. Haize, why Pat wearing that suit earlier, looking like uncle that gives you socks for Christmas? He had to go to a funeral afterwards. So I'm not going to tell. It's not my job to share anybody's business. But he had to go to a funeral, so that played a part in it. So that's what it is. Do you think Adama Sanogo is capable of playing minutes in the NBA game, or is he still too raw? I go back and forth. Here's the thing. It depends on what you need from him. Like I said earlier in the stream, I don't know if you were here, JK, if you just need somebody to go out and get you some tough rebounds, maybe some putbacks and some block shots, I think Adama Sanogo can do that a little bit. Not as much as he's done on the G League level. I do think the speed of the game is still something he's adapting to it well, but he's adapted to it well in the G League so far, better than I thought he would early on. So I do think that he is a player that if right now Drummond went down and we just needed a backup big that can rebound, not the same. He's not nearly as athletic as Andre Drummond, but I would trust Adama Sanogo to be able to come in and rebound and get you some block shots. But that's about it. That's about it. Lil Famo says, let's get this dub, Haize. I mean, listen, let's hope. We'll end up seeing. I don't know if I really trust it big time right now, but We'll see what happens, man. Otto Sonogo, Bateem, Terry, and Phillips. Who do you believe has the most? Oh, Julian Phillips by far. Not even close. Now it's not even close. I mean remotely. I mean like it's Julian Phillips, 5, 6, 7, 8 rings down. That's where you start getting into the next person. It's Julian Phillips all the way. What are some of the keys to the game you think the Bulls? Same keys as always. Play with energy, execute defensively, force turnovers where you can, get crash the boards offensively and defensively, get out in transition when you do crash the boards defensively or cause turnovers, and shoot the ball effectively. Take the smart shots. If you can shoot the ball effectively, and not necessarily just taking a bunch of shots, that gives the Bulls a chance. So we'll see. I don't. This is a. I'm sorry. No offense, but this is literally the worst comparison you can probably make. There's no similarities between Sonogo and Andre Drummond's game. I'm sorry, Draymond Green's game. None. Not even remotely. I don't even know where that comparison. Anybody who made that initially made that comparison has got to watch more basketball because that is literally one of the worst comparisons you can make. Adama Sonogo is nothing like Draymond Green. Nothing. I don't even know why anybody would make that. That is literally a bad, stupid comparison. It just is. Delbert says, seems like Bateem can be a good shooter for us. Listen, Bateem is shooting 34% from the field and like 29% from three-point range. I don't know where you could get that at. Like, theoretically, yes, but he has to adapt to the NBA game way better than what he's done in the G League for him to be a solid shooter for the Chicago Bulls. Be on the lookout for Bobby Portis because he's what all Shea got to say. Be on the lookout. Did you hear this? What is your opinion? Your opinion. Don't give me no opinion that you read. Don't give me no opinion that you heard on boards. Don't give me nothing that you read from Shams or anybody else. Shay, give me your opinion, bro. You watch enough basketball. I know you have opinions on this game. Bulls fans, I understand y'all like Bateem, but down in the G League, he still needs work. He's still learning the game at the NBA level. Yeah, it's going to take time. I'm not saying that he can't get there, but it's going to take time. It's going to take time. He just said that because they both black as hell. That's funny. That's funny. Yo, late to the party, but another Kobe White masterclass tonight. Hey, let's see. Let's see what happens. I'm not guaranteeing that, but we'll see. We'll see. Haize, have you watched The Death of the Power Forward by Rusty Buckets? Definitely gives some good insights on what it takes to be a good modern day power forward in the league. Yeah, I actually saw that video. It was Death of Positions or something like that. I don't think it's just called Death of the Power, or is it? But yeah, listen, Rusty Buckets does good work. He really does good work. Hats off to that man. How he's like climbed and grown in this YouTube game is just amazing to see. And he has good content, really good content. Sonogo and Draymond being compared is like saying Bateem Luca. That's funny. That's funny. If you've been watching the recent Windy City games, but I think the Isaiah Moore has a lot of potential. I mean, I watch every Windy City Bulls game. I actually have an episode. I do an episode once a week on recapping the week of the Windy City Bulls, and I need to see more. Is what I'll say. I'll just say I need to see more. I need to see more. Still no starting lineup out. The Bulls keep failing us with getting the starting lineup out at a decent time. I was disappointed with drafting Kobe White on draft night, but looking back at the 2019 class, I regret nothing. Well, I mean, keep in mind, everybody knew going into that class that the Bulls were going to draft a point guard. It was either if they got lucky to get high up and win the lottery, it was going to be Ja Morant. And once that didn't come, it was going to be whoever fell between Darius Garland and Kobe White. That's always what it was going to be. They went into that draft knowing that they needed a point guard. So Kobe White is going off tonight. He's starting to play with some emotion. We have seen a lot of emotion from Patrick Williams, more than what we've seen in like big chunks. And you got to give it up to him. Like Patrick Williams is really coming along. And like I titled the video the other day, I'm not saying he has turned the corner, but I am saying that he is maybe on the precipice of turning that corner. Assuming Julian Phillips and maybe Dalen get some playing time tonight because they didn't play for the Windy City yesterday, they must be in Milwaukee with this team. I mean, yeah, they did travel. They called him up. They did travel with the team. We'll end up seeing. That's awesome. You show love to the youth. To the youth. Oh, to the Windy City Bulls? Yeah, got to. Who goes off tonight, Haize? I don't know. I don't care who goes off. I care about how you play well. I don't care about who goes off. I would much rather see a team where 8 people score 12 to 15 points than to see a team with somebody going off and we lose. Let's like, I don't care about that. You notice I never say that. I don't care who goes off. I hope the refs call the game similar to the last matchup we had. Otherwise, it's going to be a long night with Giannis at the line a lot. Well, Giannis is going to get to the line a lot regardless. You just get ready for that. It's going to happen. I'm not trying to compare nobody, but if Snogo, when it comes to the offense, I would try to work with Zach Randolph or Carlos Boozer. That's what I believe he should do offensively. Listen, he doesn't have the footwork. Everybody likes to talk about Carlos at times, like Carlos was terrible. He doesn't have the footwork of Carlos Boozer. He just doesn't. Now, you say Zach Randolph. I mean, as far as like the big body, but again, that's actually not a bad comp. That's not a bad, but again, I think Zach Randolph even had a refinement to his game that he can't just predict somebody to have, right? I'm planning to go to a Windy City game or two, 20 minutes away, and the ticket's cheap as hell. I want to go when Julian Phillips is playing for them, but I don't know if he's playing for them anymore. You just got to watch. Go subscribe to the Windy City Bulls. He gets called up and down. Right now, he got called up, probably because they were expecting Alex Caruso to maybe not play. And, you'll see what happens with that. Had a brief back and forth with a guy on Bulls Twitter today, and he was saying that the Bulls should draft Zach Edey. Oh my God, they gotta be Cornelius. Oh my God. Listen, Zach. Stop having conversations with people that only look at stat sheets. Zach Edey doesn't have the foot speed, the pick and roll defense, or nothing to be successful at the end. This is why there's a reason why he's projected to be the 60th pick in the draft. He's a great college player, but you can say the same thing about Kofi Cockburn. It's not going to happen for him at the NBA level. It's not going to happen for him at the NBA level. Hey, saw your recent video just now. I really like that they made it known that Alex is not on the table. The guy that plays the hardest should deserve that right. And this year, it's definitely Alex Caruso. Well, I mean, it's not just about playing the hardest, because when you go into a place of asset acquisition, if somebody offers you a great deal, you got to take it. But I do think that people that think that this Bulls team, just because of the Zach LaVine pending trade, are all of a sudden going to go like, let's just trade off everybody. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Zach Edey, man, y'all got to stop with that. People expecting Sanogo to pay that $50K to work with Hakeem. That's funny. That's not going to happen either. I have to cuss a LeBron James fan out today because he said that I was hating on his legacy because I said the in-season tournament doesn't matter. Listen, LeBron sexuals are crazy. It just is what it is. It just is what it is. Hami Jaquez? No, that's not going to happen. Jack Collins says, am I muted or something? No, you're not. Why would you be muted? What did you do? Are you telling on yourself? Bro, it's mad annoying lazy stat heads who don't watch games are ruining all sports fans. Well, that I told you guys. Like, honestly, most sports fans that talk about sports don't actually watch games. They watch box scores and stat sheets. That's what they watch. 90% of sports fans, not just basketball fans, sports fan in general, don't watch that many games. They just don't. They look at the stat, and that's why I say anybody who's like, for example, they're like, oh, bet Alex Caruso played shooting guard. The other team shooting guard scored 18 points. That means Alex Caruso gave up 18 points. You look at them right there and say, you're a fucking idiot. You don't actually watch basketball, because basketball never works in a way that you are guarding your exact same position every possession down the stretch. So people that think that, you guys right there, that should expose them. I think we should trade Caruso in the offseason if we can't get an extension. Well, I mean, that is something that you do have to look. If the Bulls are confident that they can extend Alex Caruso, cool, right? If you get into next offseason or next year's trade deadline approaching that, and you can't get an extension for Alex Caruso, then you may have to look to move him. You about to do what, Sydney? You about to do what? I feel like Grant Nelson probably is the only prospect I would like in a Bulls uniform. I just want to see Torrey Craig continue to light it up from three. Looks like he's getting more comfortable in Chicago. I mean, the role, right? Yeah, and everybody's kind of falling into the roles. Dario says, hey, Haize, you dropping any members only vids? Yeah, I've dropped some already this season. Now, I think I've taken like the last 2 weeks off. That's just because of everything else going on. But yeah, we're about to start getting back to members only videos. We got to get that. Members got to get their videos. I'm been trying to use guests on the members only video to just add a little extra umph to it. I'll probably get Big Kev on this weekend. But yeah, you're about to start getting those member only videos again. So they gave Bron a title to make him feel good since he's not reaching Mike. That's funny. That's hilarious. What's up, Haize? What do you think is going on with Javin Carter? We don't have anybody on the roster named Javin Carter. So I don't know. But if you're talking about Javon Carter, who knows in that case? What is this? Who's at my door? Oh, they delivered a package. Hey, he's just hopping on. Do you know if Alex Caruso is out today, Sydney? He is out. I have a feeling we haven't seen Zach's last game in the Bulls jersey yet. I mean, that definitely could be the case. You're right, Haize. Bronny, look, I told y'all. I keep telling y'all. Bronny James, the last time I told y'all guys, I was telling people, Jello Ball is not going to play in the NBA. I remember people were arguing with me. It was my first year on YouTube. So again, people just automatically, when you first start off a channel talking basketball, sports, everybody just doubts you at first, right? And I remember I was saying that, and people just like, you're crazy. Jello Ball is going to be this. Jello Ball is going to be that. And then I started calling him G League Kobe because that's all he was ever going to accomplish and be. And now, look, I remember I bet somebody. Matter of fact, it was Flight Sports TV. I literally said, listen, if in the next year to 18 months, if Jello Ball plays an NBA game, you can have my channel. It didn't happen. Jello sucks. Box score watching, don't understand it. Watching games is the fun part. Exactly. Javon didn't have. I mean, I think Javon, like, the role is different, right? Javon Carter, I even think initially coming into the season, probably expected, like, typically Billy Donovan only goes 9 players deep on the bench. But because Iowa's been playing so good, he's consistently gone 10 players deep. But that has meant that Io and Javon Carter have both had their minutes kind of cut from what that role usually would be. And I think that plays a part into it. He got to work himself in the rhythm. Spicy Butter in the building says, what's good, little bro? Up tempo is our power. We have the opportunity to put our young Bulls on display. I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, the thing is, though, with that said, is that you still have to pick and choose when you push the break, when you go up tempo. And the Bulls have been doing that and choosing that pretty well lately. It's not running gun. What the fuck? It's not running gun out there, but you got to pick it and choose it wisely. Haize, how confident do you feel about this game? I'm not feeling super confident, but I said that about the last 4 games and look at where we are. I mean, listen, confidence as far as the Bulls playing with win or loss doesn't matter to me, but I do feel confident with how the Bulls play. They're going to play with heart. That's the biggest thing. Play with heart. That's the biggest thing I want to see. Funniest thing, I think Jello is probably the most durable ball brother. Who knows, though? He hasn't even played half a season. Exactly. Bronny, if Bronny's bad, still got Bryce. Bryce is the better prospect. But Bronny's going to be terrible, yo. Is P will start? I mean, yeah, especially with Alex Caruso, I doubt he's not going to start. Have they announced the starting lineup yet? Let's take a look. They keep getting further and further out. All for like a year and a half, it was consistently 30 minutes before game time. They got out the starting lineup. They have not. Now it's like 15 minutes before game time. Caruso need to sit in the hill. He's way too poor. You already said that. Why do y'all leave the same comment twice? But what happens with that? Honestly, I need that Sub-Zero jersey ASAP. Hey, that Sub-Zero jersey is fire. It is a fire jersey. Can't deny it. It's fire. Still no starting lineups out. I already read that one. Do you think Zach's situation played a part in the decimal start to the season? I mean, no, because I don't think that they came into the season expecting Zach LaVine to answer. I don't even think Zach came into the season expecting wanting to be traded. I think with the way the stuff went and how bad it was, that's what brought that about. So no, I don't think that necessarily. I mean, after the request did it play a part? Absolutely, probably. But I won't say that was the start of. That's why the season started the way that it did. What do you like to see as the record for the next 4 games? How close are they to 500? Right now, we are what? What are we on the season? We're 8-14, I think 8-19, something like that. Let's see. I don't know why I don't remember it off. We're 9-14 on the season, so that means we're 5 games below 500. I think that we can win. We can go 2-2 over this week. That will put us at 11-16. But again, that's not really making movement towards 500. If the Bulls make it to 500, it probably won't be until about the end of January when the schedule completely eases up. These next 6 games that the Bulls have are all tough games. Haize, if we make it to the 7th spot before January, what would that change in your opinion on the team? Nothing. It's how we end. At this point now, I mean, don't get me wrong. Right now, my opinion is high on the effort and things that they fight with and give, but it's not going to change my overall aspect of it. Will Zach's trade kicker count against our cap or the luxury tax, even though he isn't playing for us? Yes, it counts. I don't know how that works as far as it counts against the cap. I don't know. I would imagine that I don't know if it does or not because you're sending him out, so his salary technically wouldn't count against the cap at all. I don't know. Do you think Javon is going to get a lot of minutes today? Probably with AC out. I would think so. Starters are finally out. Let's look at the starters before we go ahead and wrap this up for today. Kobe White, Ayo Dosunmu, DeMar DeRozan, Patrick Williams, Nikola Vucevic is your starting lineup tonight for the Chicago Bulls. And we're going to see how it's going to compete. That could be a fun makeup of a roster. Could be extremely fun to see how the Bulls play in that, man. And let's hope that they can get it. Let's hope that they come in, that they execute, and that they just fight hard. That's the thing that we want to see from the most. Fight hard. That's it. But all right, guys, we're going to go ahead and get ready to wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another pregame show. I'll be back at halftime. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. If you're not subscribed to the channel, we still have our goal of 20,000 subscribers by the end of the season. We're a little ways off from that, a little bit under 4,000 subscribers away from that. But hey, help us get there. I love you guys, man. Go Bulls, see red, all that good stuff. Peace, y'all.